Have you ever noticed certain things she says that don't sound cruel, but don't feel committed either? Not insults, not rejection, just small casual phrases that keep you slightly off balance, the kind that sound harmless on the surface, yet leave you wondering where you actually stand. You're close but not secure, included but never anchored. You feel like you're there but not chosen. It shows up in everyday moments, when plans are always "we'll see," when the future stays blurry, when your role in her life feels flexible instead of solid. Conversations still happen, affection still exists, but underneath it, there's a quiet sense that you're being kept in a safe emotional distance. Most men are taught that noticing this means you're needy, that wanting clarity makes you weak. But here's the reframe. Wanting to know where you stand isn't insecurity, it's self-respect. Because being calm doesn't mean being available to uncertainty forever. This video isn't here to make you suspicious of every word. It's here to help you recognize when connection turns into positioning. Not so you react, but so you finally see what game you're being placed in. There is a very quiet kind of pain in relationships. Not being directly rejected, not being clearly left, but being kept in a blurred position. She still texts you, still smiles when she sees you, still comes to you when she needs to talk, when she's sad, when she's lonely. But deep inside, you always feel something strange. You are never the one who gets chosen first. You always come after something else. Men are very good at ignoring this feeling, not because you don't notice it, but because you don't want to believe it. You're afraid that if you name it honestly, everything will fall apart. So you tell yourself, maybe she just needs time. Maybe I'm not good enough yet. Maybe things will become clear if I try a little more. And without realizing it, you slide from being chosen into being kept around. The scary part is not being rejected. The scary part is being put in backup mode. When you're not the answer, but option B. In that position, you're not treated badly, but you're also not truly placed anywhere. And men are dangerously good at one thing, blaming themselves. Not, she's putting me in a side role. But I'm not attractive enough. I'm not valuable enough. I just need to try harder. But here is a truth that needs to be said slowly and clearly. It's not always that you're not good enough. Sometimes you're just in the wrong position in someone's life. And her logic starts right here. Her logic doesn't teach you to hate women. It doesn't teach you to suspect everything. It doesn't turn you into a bitter or controlling man. Her logic teaches you to read the language of position. Are you a priority or just an option? Because people rarely say directly, you're just a backup. They say it with very soft words, very polite words, very reasonable words. But those words, if they repeat enough, tell you exactly where you stand. Your role is not to beg for the main part, not to prove you're worthy, not to secretly compete with people you've never even seen. Your role is this: observe, hold your boundaries, and make clear-headed choices for yourself. In this video, we're not accusing anyone. We're not jumping to conclusions. We're not turning you into a victim. We're doing just one thing: recognizing 4 very common, very soft sentences that actually say something very loud. You are not the choice. You are an option. If you've ever felt like you're always in the second row in someone's life, like the video, or leave a short comment, I've felt this. Not to blame anyone, but to start respecting your own position. In this part, we are not looking for evidence. We are reading the language of position. Soft, polite phrases that, if repeated enough, tell you exactly where you stand in her life. Each phrase below comes with a behavior pattern, a psychological motive, a common mistake men make, and a her logic response. Observe, hold your boundaries, and stay calm, not bitter. Phrase 1. Let me see. The behavior: you ask about near future plans. Are we seeing each other this weekend? Do you want to go somewhere together next month? She smiles and says, let me see. It sounds harmless, but when it shows up right when clarity is needed, you get stuck in the middle. No commitment, but not released either. The psychology behind it, let me see, keeps you in an open slot. She does not lose you, but she does not have to choose you. It gives her flexibility without facing a real decision. The common male mistake: you wait in uncertainty. You hear let me see as not now, and then you wait. Every time you wait, you invest a little more emotion into a space that is still undefined. Her logic response: lower your investment and watch her reaction. You do not complain, you do not push. You simply step back one beat, less initiating, less arranging. If you are a priority, she will pull you back in. If not, you get your answer without an argument. If you have heard this phrase before, comment yes. Phrase 2. I am not ready for a serious relationship right now. The behavior: She says she is not ready, but she still texts you, still sees you when she is free, still leans on you when she is sad. Meaning, she keeps the benefits of you without the commitment. The psychology behind it. Sometimes not ready is honest. But when it comes with keeping you close, it lets her enjoy safety without responsibility. The male mistake. You say, I will wait until she is ready. And you turn yourself into a waiting room. Day by day, you get used to having no clear position. Her logic response, watch how she treats you, not the explanation. Someone who is not ready but sees you as the choice will not leave you floating. If she keeps you in a gray zone, you reset your boundary. You do not stay in relationships with no direction. Like the video if this pattern feels familiar. Phrase 3. I do not want to make things complicated. The behavior, anytime you talk about boundaries, the future, or defining the relationship, she gently says, do not make things complicated. The psychology behind it, not complicated, often means not choosing anyone. Keeping things loose lets her stay flexible and avoid emotional responsibility. The male mistake, you shrink your needs to seem easier to deal with. You tell yourself, I should not be difficult. But inside, you are betraying your own need for clarity. Her logic response, respect your need for clarity. Wanting things to be simple is not wrong, but simple does not mean vague. You calmly say you need to know where you stand, so you do not invest in the wrong place. Phrase 4. I really like you, but. The behavior. There is always a but after something positive. I really like you, but. You are such a great guy, but. The psychology behind it. The first part soothes you. The second part keeps you out of the center. The truth is usually after the word but. The male mistake. You only hear the first part. You cling to the compliment and ignore what is blocking you. Her logic response, believe the second part, not to become bitter, but to stay awake. When someone says but often enough, they are telling you the limits of your position. Follow her logic to learn how to read between the lines, without judging, without lying to yourself. Each of these sentences alone may not mean much, but when they repeat as a pattern, they draw a clear picture. You are being kept in a convenient zone, not the chosen zone. And this is where the question changes. It is no longer, is she choosing me? It becomes, am I choosing to stay in this position? After everything you've just heard, you're probably not feeling clear. You're feeling conflicted, not angry, not convinced, just stuck in that quiet space where your mind keeps going back and forth between this is probably nothing and this doesn't feel right. You start questioning your own judgment, wondering if you're being perceptive or just insecure. And to be fair, each thing on its own can seem too small to really mean anything. But the problem is almost never one sentence, one moment, or one reaction. It's the rhythm of the relationship that's changing underneath you. It's the overall direction things are drifting in. Like the temperature in a room rising so slowly you don't notice until you're already uncomfortable. Like a steering wheel turned just a few degrees and miles later you're nowhere near the road you thought you were on. Or like a low background noise that's been playing so long, silence starts to feel unfamiliar. What really matters isn't just what she says in a single situation, it's what you start doing inside yourself over time. When you find yourself constantly explaining things away, when your inner voice keeps saying, it's probably nothing, or I'm just being too sensitive, that self-talk isn't weakness, it's information. Not about guilt, not about blame, but about how your sense of emotional stability is slowly being negotiated away. And from here, the picture shifts. The patterns ahead don't live in mild confusion anymore. They show up in the quiet ways a man begins to lose his footing in a relationship without even realizing it. This is where many people later look back and think, I felt it, like I just didn't want to see it. If you've ever been in this headspace, stay with me. English version for voiceover. Natural, clear, American tone. At some point, you stop wondering about what she says. You start wondering about yourself, not what is she thinking, but why am I still here? Because when those 4 phrases repeat long enough, they stop being just words. They become a position, and that position is on the edge of the story. The climax sign. You are there, but not in the center. The behavior you start to notice. You are the one who texts first more often. You are the one who suggests meeting more often. You are the one who takes care of her emotions more often. But when you step back, no one steps forward to replace you. You are still present, but you are no longer chosen every day. Why does this hit men so deeply? Because men do not need to be possessed. Men need to be wanted. When you feel like you are being kept instead of chosen, you start to shrink inside your own relationship. The danger is not in her. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The danger is not that she is not choosing you. The danger is that you have stayed in the option position for too long. You start to rationalize, at least she is still here. At least she has not cut things off. At least I still have hope. But hope in a relationship is not fed by uncertainty. It is fed by mutual clarity. Metaphor. A house with no room for you. Imagine this. You are living in a house that does not have a room for you. You can sit in the living room. You can use the kitchen. You are allowed to be there when needed. But there is no door with your name on it. You can stay in that house for a long time, but you will never belong to it. That is what it feels like to be an option. The most painful part is not losing her. The most painful part is this. You start trading your self-respect for a vague position. You smile when you are not okay. You stay silent when you need to speak. You lower your emotional standards to make yourself easier to keep. And little by little, you stop being the strong, clear, confident version of yourself you used to be. At this stage, the real question is no longer about her. It is, what kind of man am I becoming in this relationship? A man who waits to be chosen, or a man who chooses himself first? If you are in this stage, you are not alone. Many good, thoughtful, high-value men have sat in that exact spot, in quiet, unsure, but still trying to stay. If this touches you, subscribe to the channel. Not to become more suspicious, but to become more aware and more respectful of yourself. There is a very important moment in a man's emotional life, not when you realize she didn't choose you, but when you realize you stayed in the option role for too long. You've probably thought, just try a little more, things will become clear. Just try a little more, maybe she'll change. Just try a little more, I'll prove my value. But the truth is, no one gets chosen by trying harder in the wrong position. No one becomes a priority by accepting being placed second. And here is the mindset shift. The problem is not that she hasn't chosen you yet. The problem is that you didn't choose yourself sooner. You don't need to become cold. You don't need to hate anyone. You don't need to turn bitter. You only need enough clarity to say to yourself, I don't stay in someone's life as a backup plan. Self-respect is not arrogance. It's the boundary where you stop bargaining your value just to remain in the story. A healthy relationship does not require you to lower your needs, swallow your emotions, or play a side role in your own life. It allows you to be clear and chosen. And this is where her logic shows up one last time in this video. Not to teach you how to win someone, but to help you. Read the language of position. Recognize when you're being placed on the sidelines. And respect yourself enough to not stay in the wrong place. Her logic doesn't teach you to compete. It teaches you to choose the right role for yourself in someone else's life. No one here has to be the villain. You don't need to hate anyone. You don't need to blame anyone. It's just that some people are not meant to put you at the center of their world. And the most mature question you can ask is not, how do I make her choose me? But, do I keep choosing to stay in this position? Before we end, I'll leave you with one quiet but powerful question. If you stopped trying to prove your value today, would she step toward you? If that question makes you pause a little longer than usual, then maybe, deep down, you already know what comes next. Share your thoughts in the comments. And subscribe to her logic, not to become more suspicious, but to become more respectful of yourself in every relationship. And before this video ends, let's gently place the focus back where it truly belongs. Not on whether she is right or wrong, not on whether those words prove anything, but on something quieter and more important, how you are treating yourself inside this relationship. Because the real question is not what she says, it's what you accept and how much of your own value you're willing to set aside to keep things going. A lot of men live with the belief, if I just try a little harder, I'll become more important to her. So they give more time, more patience, more understanding. But sometimes trying harder is no longer love. Sometimes it's just fear wearing the mask of loyalty. And in those moments, stepping back isn't failure. It isn't giving up. It's simply the moment you stop negotiating with your worth and start being honest with yourself. That's what her logic is really about. Not turning you into a suspicious man, not teaching you to control women, and not building a mindset of bitterness or blame. Her logic is a way of observing without panic, seeing patterns instead of chasing emotions. It's a way of staying calm when your feelings want to rush ahead of clarity. And above all, it's a compass of self-respect, something that keeps you grounded. when a relationship starts to make you feel small instead of chosen. So before you focus on what she may or may not be saying, ask yourself this. Are you staying because you truly feel valued or because you're afraid of what it means to walk away from being almost important? If you've ever been in that space, you don't need to explain yourself here. You're not on trial. But if you want to share what that moment felt like for you, you're welcome to quietly, honestly. And if you want to keep your mind clear, your reactions grounded, and your dignity intact, her logic will still be here. Not to push you, not to pull you, just to walk with you while you stay awake, steady, and self respecting.